Hello, this is Jonathan Tripp, and this is my submission for the PHP and MySQL Sampling Technologies Lab. To begin, I'll give a brief overview of my development environment. I'm using Ubuntu Linux in VMware Workstation, and I've allocated about 3 gigabytes of RAM to this system with a quad-core processor. To use the LAMP technology stack, I've installed XAMPP on my system, as you can see here. My default text editor has been Atom, and I'm using PHP MyAdmin to configure and manage the database. So the main purpose of this project is I've created a sort of logging application for owners of pet bearded dragons, such as myself, to record information such as what is their diet, what's their general behavior, are they shedding, things of that nature. So the page has two basic functions. One is this form which users can submit information through, and the second is to see records that they've previously submitted to the database, which I'll show you here under View Logs. So you can see there's a basic table containing the information within the database. The database is shown here. It's called status log, and as you can see, they're the same 3 records that are shown on the View Logs page. Clicking the home link takes you back to the main page of the application. And this is the PHP file for this main page. As you can see, it's a relatively simple HTML page, and the main component of this page is just the form, which collects information from the user. And upon submitting that information, is sent back to the same page via this PHP script, which collects all that data, sanitizes the inputs for security purposes, and inserts them into the database. So if I go ahead and insert just a sample record here, I'll just input some test data. I'll indicate that my bearded dragon currently is shedding and his tank temperature is about 84 degrees. If I submit that record, you can see a message appear that says that the log has been successfully submitted. And now if we go to View Logs, we can see that there is now a 4th record, and that is reflected in the database view as well. There's not currently any functionality to remove or modify records in this page. Right now it's just inserting and viewing those records. In regards to the View Logs page, there's another PHP file for that. Again, a relatively simple HTML page, basically describing what the page is for. And the main component here is this PHP echo statement, which echoes this variable called table, which is generated up here based on the results of a select statement from that status log table. And what this basically does is it iterates through the results of that select statement and appends those results to a HTML table, which is then echoed out to the actual HTML format to be displayed on the page. There is a third and final file to this project called dbconnect, which I'm not going to show because that contains sort of the more sensitive information for configuring the connection to my database. But as you can see in both view logs and index.php, that file is included so that these files have access to the database connection. That's one of the main security issues that I noticed in my implementation is this database configuration. In a production environment, I would definitely make sure that steps are taken to conceal this information from any sort of public eye. And another thing is making sure that the inputs are sanitized to prevent any sort of scripting attacks on this application. I didn't really have any issues in implementing this project. I've had some experience before with PHP and HTML and MySQL. I'd say the biggest difficulty was getting everything in the VM up and running just because the limitations of my system have caused some slowness and some hiccups in the setup process. In my research of the popularity of database technologies such as MySQL, I referred to a survey conducted by Stack Overflow, which concluded that among general developers as well as exclusively professional developers, approximately 44% of developers use MySQL, vastly overshadowing the other database technologies that are available, which I think is very telling. As far as the popularity for the LAMP stack, the one thing I noticed is that among job recruitment websites, there are a lot of smaller companies that are currently recruiting LAMP stack developers. However, I didn't notice a lot of larger enterprises. In fact, I wasn't able to find any specific examples of large enterprises that are currently using or advertising that they use the LAMP stack. So this has been my submission for the PHP and MySQL Sampling Technology Lab. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.